Alrighty, Monday, June 10th, quick session recap here, starting off with NQ. So pretty slow session, price offering half of an ATR move, a little bit more than half of an ATR move. Let's take a look. We have a 155 point move here in NQ versus the normal ATR of 246. So a bit more than half. Main focus coming into the session was for a slower sesh, right? Lighter expectations on the session simply based on the current structure that we see in front of us, near-term range, as well as the fact that last week on Wednesday, we did have that big expansion day. So as always, following that volatility expansion, you're going to have compression. Now, tie that in with the fact that it is a Monday, tends to be a slower day of the week for actionable setups, and the fact that we do have FOMC on Wednesday, which of course is going to be a big market moving event, gives us conditions for a much slower session. And that's exactly what we saw. So we come into the sesh wanting to see how price is going to trade versus that prior day low. Now, as always, when I'm talking about prior day low, I am referencing the regular trading hours prior day low. So from the 9:30 open Eastern into the 4 o'clock p.m. close. Always looking at that regular trading hours, prior day low and prior day high. That's just my personal preference. So if you hear me talking about prior day low like I was this morning, that's what I'm talking about, regular trading hours. So here's the 5-minute regular trading hours chart. We can see how well price defended that prior day low, which is right here, right around just shy of 19K. Right here at 18,993. And then right below that, what do we have? We have the 18,980 level of interest. So this is not, a wide gap by any means. I pretty much consider those to be the same level. You have the reference point there being the prior day low, and then the level of interest, which of course is more significant. If you're wondering about the hierarchy of those different levels, as far as how they line up with the quality of the trade, take a look at the criteria of an A-plus trade setup that is posted in the resources tab of the Traders Think Tank that goes over the entire framework for an A-plus trade. But anyway, you got that strong push here versus that downside level of interest, that prior day low. Once we're past 10 a.m. with prices up and through the session highs right here around 1020, 1025, pretty much confirms, at least for me, that price is going to continue to trade within this near-term range and likely, at the very least, trade up into that prior day structure point right through here where my cursor is, 19,070, and then potentially into that prior day high. Not quite getting into that prior day high, finding some resistance in this 19,120 area. Can see prior areas of resistance there on the chart. Now, price continues to trade within this near-term range, and that'll be my expectations for tomorrow as well. Primarily, we'll be focused on the reaction versus this area of resistance up through here. Okay, so price trading up near that near-term resistance zone. Coming into tomorrow, what we want to see is how price is going to respond versus that 19,150. Now, we do have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 10-year auction tomorrow, but outside of that, there's no major news events tomorrow morning. So conditions for that slower session, especially ahead of FOMC, remain. And we want to just continue to watch this sideways range right through here. So up top, obviously resistance zone, down through here, support. Like I had mentioned Friday, during that session recap, Monday expected pretty much exactly what we saw today, expecting another session within this range tomorrow. Now, as always, not a crystal ball or anything like that, not a guarantee to happen, but that is kind of the framework that I'll be working with ahead of FOMC. So looking at the reaction versus that near-term range, main watch tomorrow, essentially today's high / 19,150. So that's NQ. Let's jump over to ES. Structure is pretty similar, right? Same type of approach for today with the S&P. ES in focus here. Near-term range, we have essentially 5380, 5385 area by 5330 35. Friday's low right through there. Let's jump into the regular trading hours chart, because again, looking at that prior day low this morning on ES, holds almost to the tick. What is the low right here from Friday? That is 53.41. Today's low is 53.41. So prior day low holds to the exact tick. That marks the session low, and price trades up and through that near-term range. You could see the action here, obviously quite slow this morning, kind of just that drift upward, right? That's what I mean by a slower session. You get the move, but it's a lot slower, requires more patience. You want to be really giving the trade a bit of breathing room, definitely, because you're not usually going to see these kind of more volatile momentum type moves. Now, some phenomenal setups here later in the afternoon. I was primarily done personally within about the first hour of the sesh, but later in the day, get some really solid setups there once that intraday structure really develops. But point is here is that near term still have price within the prior 2-3 days range here. So location remains the same, structure remains the same, no real updates to the structure here. Just want to continue to focus on how price trades versus the edge points of the range. Remember, when price is trading within that near-term range, where are the best opportunities? They're going to be down here or up in here, right? In the middle, you can get some decent setups, but not the best, simply because we don't have strong trade location. So that'll be the focus for tomorrow, how price trades versus today's high, this near-term resistance zone, potentially the 53.68 area. But again, point is that price is coming into resistance on both ES and NQ. So hope everyone had a good sesh, profitable session. As always, or at the very least, did not do any damage to the old trading account on this slower day. If you have questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a DM in the Traders Think Tank. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good afternoon.